Dr. Willie. How are you?
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yes, meet your friend from Malaysia, Dr. Chai Sun Yu from Nottingham University.
We have classes during the weekend, so most likely colleagues won't be able to join. But yeah, but my friends were so excited seeing Dr. Willie, not myself though.
Nhưng mà bây giờ là chạy.
Yeah, Bhavana, you've got two or you're joining from two different devices. No?
I
Oh, no,
was
yeah.
hoping.
Okay, the other one is gone. Yeah. Okay, good.
Hello, teachers. Hello, teachers. Hello, teachers.
Hello.
Mingalaba. Yeah, Mingalaba, a very good evening. And today we are very proud, excited, and thrilled to present the webinar titled The Joy of Research and the Thrill of Discovery by Professor Dr. Willie, National Institute of Education Singapore, and Dr. Chai Shunju, Assistant Professor, University of Nottingham, Malaysia. And before we begin, may I announce some housekeeping rules. The webinar is going to be recorded and will be uploaded on the YouTube after editing. And this webinar, this session will last about 45 minutes to 60 minutes. And during the webinar, may I request you to keep your cameras on if possible and keep your microphones off during the time. And if you have comments and questions, you can ask the questions to the speakers directly on the microphone at the end of the session when we have the Q&A session at the end of the event. And the feedback form will be given to you in the chat box, and the e-certificates for attendance will be sent to you within one working week. So, okay, so let me introduce you to the eminent ELD figures who have come here to honor us with their presence, giving the presentation to us. So firstly, Dr. Willie Renangia. Dr. Willie, okay, we call him Dr. Willie. The full name is Dr. Willie A. Renangia, is a language teacher educator with extensive teaching experience in Asia. He currently teaches language education courses in Singapore, including at NIE NTU, SUSS, and RELC. He also serves as a research fellow at the University of Economics, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. He has given numerous keynote presentations at international ELD conferences and has published extensively in the area of second language education. Thank you very much, Dr. Willie. And the next speaker is Professor Dr. Chai Shun-Yu, and she's an assistant professor and coordinator for MA Education Program at the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, UNM. She earned her PhD and MA TESOL from UNM and completed her BET TESOL at the University of Selangor. Prior to working in the higher education context, she served as an EAL teacher at an international school covering both primary and secondary levels. Her research interests include creativity in higher education and technology-enhanced learning. So we are very proud to have these figures, ELD figure, eminent ELD luminaries. So without further ado, I will hand over the floor to you, to the speaker. So firstly, Dr. Willie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, May. Thank you very much, Myanmar TESOL. Teachers, if you are here in the room, can I just ask you to very briefly turn on your video so that I can say hello to you? Just very briefly, maybe for 10 seconds or so. I'm trying to look at your video now. Yes, a lot of nice teachers in the audience. Thank you so much for joining us. The topic that we'll be discussing with you today is research. Yeah. Research, for some people, research can be a very scary topic. It's a very serious topic, but actually, all of us teachers have been doing it in some way. When you are teaching in the classroom, when you are looking at your students, when you're trying to find out how many students are actually with you during a lesson and how many students are actually learning a lot from you, I think you are doing some kind of research in a sense. Hey, so Darlene is here from Cambodia, and Bhuvana as well is here. And I thought I saw some other former students as well in the audience. Sri Wahyuningse. Oh no, that's a different Sri Wahyuningse. But welcome to the session this evening.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Sir Darlene. Yes, there will be two speakers, but we will not be talking or presenting one after another. So me presenting and then the other speaker presenting, but we are going to do it differently tonight. We are going to do it together, actually. So we'll take turns sharing some of the important ideas that we want to share with you, one after another, basically. Yeah. So here you go. Let me just start by asking my partner in crime to tell us a little bit about the two speakers that you're having in front of you. Sunil.
Right, sure. Hi, good evening, everyone, and thanks, Myanmar TESOL, for the opportunities as well. So there's a big contrast between Dr. Willie and myself, okay? So first of all, he's a very established teacher, lecturer, and also a researcher, right? And he is also very strategic, and he is also very mentorship driven. Right. The fact is that, ever since I talked to him, he has been enlightening me a lot about my perceptions of research and publication and has been giving me a lot of opportunities as well. Right. It's really a great pleasure to have him to guide me. And for me, I am actually an early career researcher who really wants to jumpstart my research journey. So why do I say that? Is because I haven't always been a researcher, especially when I was teaching in schools, mainly because it's not part of our KPI, right, when we are teaching in schools. But I realized that my curiosity about my own teaching is always a great starting point to embrace myself as a researcher while being a teacher as myself. And like all the teachers, we always have this natural investigate instincts, right? So whatever that we do, if we are thinking about how to motivate our students, so these are all investigative instincts. But I also got stuck in busyness of teaching. So especially right now as an academic, I'm always stuck in the busyness of teaching. So I see the value of research because it brings, it improves my practice. So I am involved in research, but I'm always stuck with publication. Right. This is always something that I shared with, I've been sharing with Dr. Willie, and therefore I'm really eager to jumpstart my journey. And that's why I'm here as well. Even though, both Dr. Willie and I are at very different stages of our research journey, but we are both teachers, right? So we actually share the same passion for fostering curiosity in students, guiding students, and also continuously learning. So even though we are at different stages, we understand the importance of balancing the pursuit of knowledge with impactful teaching. So he will be sharing with you most of the joy because he has experienced a lot, right? I will probably be ranting and asking him to give us some guidance or advice, right? Yeah. So because of the focus of this research, so we need to ask, what is the relationship between teacher and researcher? Right? So teacher-researcher, is there really a relationship? So if we look at blogs or research, right, that has been published, say teacher as researcher, the ultimate professional development, and then bringing teachers' voice to the educational landscape, we know the importance of the role as a researcher within a teacher. And recently, and just in 2024, in December, there has one paper has been published about it is about the relationship between teachers and researchers. So it is looking at whether outstanding researchers are also top teachers, right? So this is something that we will be sharing as well, but it's towards the end. It has got quite, I mean, like interesting findings as well that we will be sharing later. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Dr. Chai is trying to say is that if you are a teacher and at the same time you've done some research yourself, I think you will become a more convincing teacher, because what you are teaching, what you are saying in the classroom is supported by your own practical experience of actually researching the topic, within your classroom or in a larger scale, for example. Where you can share your thoughts and your ideas in a more convincing manner. So as a teacher educator, I think that is something, or as a teacher, I think that is something that we need to keep in mind, that teaching and research can go hand in hand. You do not have, I know that a lot of teachers are very busy preparing lessons, teaching so many hours, in a week, not to mention marking and doing many other admin duties. But if you do have time, I think you can do a small scale type of research and use that as a basis, for you to be able to say things in a more, convincing manner in the classroom. So when you tell people, when you tell your students, you say that this is based on my research. And that is what I found about, for example, what an effective English language learners are doing to achieve their goal in learning English, for example. Yeah. So let's get started. I'm going to ask you a number of questions, and what you need to do is just to either nod your head or shake your head, or if you can say something, you can say it as well. Teaching is easy, yes? You can nod your head. No. I was hoping that you will say yes, teaching is easy. Maybe teaching is easier compared to research. Number two, I think you should say yes. I enjoy teaching my students. Yes.
Yeah.
If you're not, then you should not be teaching anymore. Next. And the next one is interesting. My students enjoy my teaching. Yes, no, not sure, maybe. Okay, this is a topic area for you to find out, actually, a small scale type of research, finding out from your students. Because many teachers I've spoken to always say that my teaching is just good, excellent and everything. But I think you need to find out for yourself, ask your students, find out from them whether or not they enjoy, being in your class. I think that is a very important thing for you to find out. So in a sense, there's a kind of research as well that you can do. Next one, research is hard and no fun. Yes, no, nod your head, shake your head. Well, at first, initially it can be tough in the same way that teaching is difficult at first. But after you've been doing it for 5 years, for 10 years, you find that teaching is so enjoyable. Ask Puvana from Malaysia. I think she will tell you that teaching is a very enjoyable activity. Yeah. Research can be a bit difficult because this is something that you have been trying to avoid for many, many years. You've not been doing it, right? So the moment you've started doing it and you've been doing it for 5 years or so, then you begin to find joy in doing research as well. Next one. Learning how to teach is easier than learning how to do research. I think this is another misconception. That is just not true. It's just that, if after you've been doing things for a while, then things become easier. The same thing with teaching and research. Yeah. When I first started my career, when I found research to be extremely, frightening and also very difficult to do. But after I've been doing it for a while, it's still difficult, but it's not as difficult as it was before. So what I'm trying to say here to you today, my message to you is teaching is not so different from research. Yeah, and let me share with you what I mean by when I say that teaching and research are actually not very much different. When you teach, you do this, right? You prepare your lesson, and then you carry out the lesson. And hopefully you have time to reflect on what you have just taught in the classroom. So there's some planning involved, some execution, delivery of the lesson involved, and some evaluation involved as well, right? I hope you have time after you finish teaching 1 hour, then you have like 5 minutes to think about what worked and what didn't work very well in your classroom. Research is also like that. You need to do some planning, and you need to carry out your research, and you also need to evaluate whether you have done a good job in researching the topic, whether you have done all that you could have done in order to do the best kind of research that is possible. Okay. So is it the same or different? Bhuvana, same or different? Sama, tak sama?
Sama, same.
Sama, it's the same, yeah. So the big pictures, the major steps are essentially the same. You need to do some planning, yeah, and then you need to carry it out, and then you need to sort of evaluate so that you can move forward with your next research project. Again, let me just draw the similarities between teaching and research. The left-hand side, I think you should nod your head now. Please nod your head. These are things that you do, right? When you teach, you need to consult the syllabus, right? Or the curriculum. You can't just walk into the classroom and start teaching. You need to check the syllabus, whether it's week number 10 or week number 12, you need to check, and then you need to prepare your lesson plan, right? You deliver the lesson, and that's your data in a way. Your lesson is your data. Yeah, and then you evaluate whether your lesson has gone well or whether there are some issues in your lesson. Teaching is like that. Research, it's the same thing. It's just that people use different terms there. Yeah, the syllabus is what you need to consult before you start teaching. Research, in the same way, you need to consult the big syllabus. We call it the literature. The literature here essentially refers to books that have been written about the topics, refers to journal articles, refers to any other publications that have been written about the topic that you are thinking of investigating. So we call that the literature. It's a big word, but it's actually something similar to the syllabus in a sense. And then once you've done that, you need to plan your research. You cannot just collect the data right away. You cannot just teach what you have just found out from the literature. You need to plan very carefully, and then you need to start thinking about what you need to do first, what you need to do next, in order for you to collect good, reliable data. And at the end of it all, you need to evaluate whether you have done a good job in following the steps, following the procedures. Okay, so let me ask you the question again. So far, so good? Is it different or similar or the same? Quite similar, yeah? Please nod your head. It's quite similar, isn't it? Okay. So today, I'm going to share with you, and Dr. Chai also will be sharing with you, how we conceptualize research in a way that is actionable, in a way that is easy to understand, in a way that is easy to follow. Yeah, we're going to organize our presentation using 3 words. The 3 words all begin with the letter H. The head, the heart, and the hands. They have to go together. The head, the heart, and the hands. Can I ask you to touch your head? Touch your head. What is inside your head? There's a lot of beautiful things inside your head, yeah? And then the next one is your heart. You need to touch your heart. Unless you are with it, unless your heart is very much involved in the whole process of doing research, or in the whole process of doing teaching for that matter, I think you will not be doing a good job. So the head will have to be there, and the heart will also have to be there as well. Oh, Christopher is here. Christopher. Hi, Chris. Chris is from Malaysia as well, right, Chris?
Hi, Dr. Wei.
Oh, I remember. Yes, Chris is from Malaysia. He was my MA student from last semester.
Nice meeting you again, Dr.
Yeah,
Wei.
Chris, Dr. Chai is also from Malaysia. And
Hi,
Hello, Chai.
nice meeting you.
yeah, Malaysia. Purvana is also from Malaysia. There's only one person here from Singapore, one from Cambodia,
Yeah.
and several from Indonesia. So the 3 big ideas that we share with you, that we'll be sharing with you, we'll organize it using 3 words, and all the words begin with the letter H. So the head, the heart, please show the heart, and then and then the hands, yeah, the hands. The hands is actually how to go about doing it. The head is thinking about it. The heart is how you feel about it. Yeah, the feeling is very important there as well, especially when you choose a topic. So what you know, yeah, what you need to know, that's the head. What to think about the topic, the research ideas, and then the feeling is very, very important. Unless you are feeling excited about your research, you will find that research is such a boring thing to do. It takes a lot of time, which you don't really have. And then the hands refers to, things that you need to plan and to actually do. So these are things that we'll be sharing with you. Let's begin with the head. The head. The head here refers to initially your understanding what you know about what research is and what research involves. And I'm going to give you some definitions there on the screen. Very simple, very easy definitions. All you need to do is nod your head if you agree or shake your head if you don't agree. Yeah. What is research? Number one, it's a systematic process of, number one, finding answers to questions. Yes? Nod your head. It's just like teaching. When you go teaching in the classroom, I think you are also interested in finding out whether you are able to find answers to the objectives of your lesson, whether the students will be responding positively to your lesson. In the same way with research, yeah, you have a question that you want to ask, you have a question that you want to find out, and then you want to find answers to that questions. So yes, number two, finding solutions to problems. Yes, I'm sure you encounter a lot of problems in the classroom. Yeah. So Darlene, I think you just nod your head. You just nodded your head. There's a lot of problems, but there are a lot of happy things as well that happen in the classroom. Yeah. So research is also another way for you to find out solutions to some of the pedagogical problems that you may encounter in your teaching. Number three. Now, number three is a little bit tricky for teachers. And this is what serious researchers are trying to do, to find out things that have not been clearly well understood by teachers, by other researchers as well, to generate new knowledge. Yeah. For example, in your country, for example, this is an example. For example, that English students in your country are not doing well, for example. Yeah, after spending like 5 years, 6 years learning English, their level of proficiency continue to be at a very low level. This is just an example, okay? Just an illustration. I know that your students are doing fine in your country. Just an example. Let's say that after spending 6 years, their level of proficiency is still at the A2, which is on the CFR scale is fairly low, right? And then you work very hard. You try to find out the reason for that, for the low level of proficiency of your students. And when you found the answer to that solution, essentially you are generating new knowledge about solving the problems of low proficiency in your country. So that's just what I mean by generating new knowledge here. Next one. Now, interestingly, research also, I think many teachers often feel that, hey, why do people do that kind of research? We already know the answer. Yeah. So research very often serves the purpose of confirming what we already know. Is that important? Question for you. Dr. Chai, is that important to confirm?
Yes, very important, because what works in other contexts may not work in my context as well. So I think confirming that is very important.
Yes, I think that's very important. And people in the research field, has used this term. They say that now we have empirical data. We have objective data to say that, yes, this thing really works. It's not just based on our intuition, but it's based on data. And that kind of thing can be very convincing, especially if you speak to your Ministry of Education, to your school principal, when you ask for more funding from your school principal, for example. Hey, sir, miss, or whatever your school principal is, can you please provide funding for this new program that I'll be starting next year? And this program is proven to be very, very effective. Yeah, and your principal will ask you, where's your data? Do you have any empirical data to show that the program that you are suggesting is effective? Yeah, so that usually is the case. People do not want to spend money unless they are really, really convinced that a program, a new program, is really effective, and there's data to support, your assertion. And what about number 5? All of the above? Can you say that all of the above responses are pretty much what we mean, when we are doing a piece of research? Yeah, please nod your head again. Very good. Now, the next question to do with the head is more than just understanding what research is, but it's about understanding what research is for, what research means to you as a professional. Yeah, a teacher, by its very definition, is a professional. It's not just somebody who just walks into the classroom and start teaching. You have gone through, at least 3 or 4 years of formal education. You've got a very strong training before you start teaching. Yeah. And, once you start teaching, you don't want to stop learning, right? Puvana, can you stop learning? In Singapore, the Ministry of Education makes sure that you continue learning throughout the duration of your career as a teacher. I think that happens in many, many other countries, including in Myanmar, in Malaysia, and in many other places. Yeah. The next one is, what does it mean to me in my job, in my career? Why research is important? The next one is, do I have knowledge to do it? I think that's another important part to do with the head. Yeah, the kind of thinking that you need to do. Include this. Sun Yu, you want to continue?
So I'm gonna answer Dr. Willis' questions, all right? So if you agree with me, do give me some reaction. So you could give me a thumbs up if you agree, or if you resonate with me, or you could also type it out in the chat box, all right? So why do I need to do research, professional growth, and what does it mean to me in my job career? So first, when I was a teacher, right, I wanted evidence to convince my HOD to support my initiative, right? I wanted iPod. And, of course, then if I need money, then I need to show something, right, that works. So I can't be saying something that is all about my claims, but no evidence. And now when I'm an academic, this is part of my KPI. So I don't have a choice.
What KPI stands for, please?
Key performance indicators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Performance indicator.
It is part of my role, and I must do the research. Okay. And do I have the knowledge to do it? Yes, I do. And especially in the area that I am researching on, and the specific research methodologies that I am familiar with, right? We won't be able to know everything. But the problem is, can I effectively apply the knowledge that I have and navigate the complexities of research while at the same time balancing my teaching responsibilities? Well, I have the passion, I have some knowledge in research, but I don't have time, right, to navigate all those complexities, because research is also about solving problems, right? Do I have the time to do it? Right. If you also experience this kind of challenges, so feel free to leave it in the chat box as well. Or if you do have other challenges that you have encountered. So these are my responses to you, Dr. Willie.
Okay, sounds good. Next one is part of the thought processes is this: do I have access to resources? Resources here can refer to time, can refer to funding, but in particular for the kind of research that teachers do, I think it's more to do with the time, the luxury of time. Do you actually have the time to do it? Can you spare 1 hour a day thinking about carrying out your research? I think this is an important question that you need to be thinking about. Yeah. If you ask me, I think it's always possible. I think it's just a matter of managing your time. You don't have to stay away from school. You don't have to take a 1 month leave, which is not possible to do research, but you can set aside a few minutes a day, like half an hour early in the morning. I remember having a conversation with my colleague many years ago when I complained about not having enough time. Do you know what his response was? Guess what? His response was very interesting. I was rather unhappy when he said that, but now I can understand. He said, "Willie, sleep less." I thought, wow, that's an idea. If you sleep 8 hours a day, just reduce it by half an hour. Half an hour a day is a lot of hours in the end. So I've been doing that. So sleep less is not a bad thing. So Darlene, try that. I think you will be slimmer, you'll be healthier, and you'll be a happier person. Sleep less. I think we sleep too much, if you ask me. Next one is, can I get support from my institutions? That's another important thing. Yeah, support, and also more importantly, recognition from my institution. Recognition. Is your effort recognized by your head of department, by your school, and by community, in your country? Again, this is another important consideration. Do I get a time off or reduce teaching hours? In my university, yes. But for most teachers in school, I think that will be very, very difficult. Yeah. I can get time off actually, because my teaching is very much, happening during the regular semesters. And there are only 2 semesters in 1 year. The summertime, starting from May, June, July, 3 months, there's no teaching involved. And there's no meeting involved. There's no admin duties unless you are an appointment holder, head of department. That is a different issue. But a normal, regular, lecturer, for example, essentially have 3 months of not doing any, planned teaching or scheduled teaching hours. So that's your time. But I think that will be a bit difficult for most teachers. May, is that possible for you? You're working in a university. Of course, it's possible for you.
Well, here it's not quite possible. We don't have the time off, and when we have to do the research alongside. So quite difficult, a different situation here.
Yeah. How about you, Sunyu?
Okay, so now, after you have shared some ideas, I now feel a bit guilty of what I'm going to say, but it's okay. Let's see.
So you're still thinking about the sleeping less, is it? Half an hour.
Maybe just skip this, you see. So do I have access to resources? Yes, I do have access to journal articles because I'm
there you
now in
go.
the university, right? And also depending on our research, right? All research actually requires extensive resources. Sometimes
That's
we
true.
can do something without funding as well.
Yeah.
It's about the motivation and the desire to do it. Okay. And I also have knowledgeable others. And, like Dr. Willie is one of them. And I also have colleagues who are much knowledgeable than me as well. But having people to work together with me always motivates me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say I don't have time, so I better don't say anything right now. So can I get support from my institutions? When I was a teacher, research is not a priority. So there is, I would say like I get support for research, explicitly, right?
Yeah.
But we have time to go. We have the opportunities to go for conferences, seminars, and other forms of professional development. And now, as an academic, yes, right, we can apply for grants, but of course, it's always competitive. Okay, do I get time off? Okay, so okay. Okay, Dr. Willie mentioned about summer, right? I also get summer, you see. So I think it's about my own time management. I should sleep less or 30 minutes less right now. I wanted to argue with Dr. Willie that, well, I need to get my beauty sleep, but he was saying that, okay, you get better as well. So yeah, so I struggle with time management as well. During the summer, I don't have to teach, but I am busy with administrative work, but it's perhaps it's about time management.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the first part of our presentation, essentially about the head, understanding what research is, understanding whether you have the time, the resources, and whether or not research is important for you as a professional teacher, whether it is a requirement from your institutions, from your school. I think these are things that, come into the, considerations. Bhuvana is a teacher trainer, is a teacher educator, language teacher educator in Malaysia. I think what she does actually is quite the same as me. I am also, my job requires that I do quite a bit of teacher development, teaching, pre-service teachers and also in-service teachers. Essentially, I'm a teacher educator. And research is something that I enjoy doing, not at first, but towards the middle of my career, then I began to be more interested in doing it. Bhuvana, you want to say something?
This is something that's really I wouldn't say it's new, neither would I say it's something that I am not used to. But it's very daunting to actually just hear the word research and
Yes, it
delving into
is
it head
very
on.
scary, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. So I'm just sometimes I do grapple in the beginning to sort of get my head tuned as to what it is. I often think about research gaps, and there are just so many, and I don't know where to start. And it's always it's always a lot of thought processes that goes, and then I end up not doing anything.
Understand.
Yes. It just at some point you need to stop thinking and start doing things, which is a point that I will soon discuss together with you. But the second part, which is extremely important, if you ask me, is the heart. Yeah, the heart really matters a lot. Yeah, so it's about your feeling. Are you excited about solving classroom problems to do with your profession as a teacher? If the answer is no, not really, then this is not for you. Yeah. Another question is, are you eager to know the link, the relationship between teaching and research? If the answer is yes, I am really excited. I want to, I'm really eager to know more, because when I teach, I am often not very sure about whether what I'm teaching actually is based on some research that has been done in the past, or based on my own research, for example. Are you eager to know about that? So it has to do with the feeling that you have. Does my heart beat faster at the prospect of discovering new knowledge? So it's all about feeling. If the answer is yes, 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 then research becomes easier. I'm not saying it's very easy, but research becomes easier because research often requires a lot of time, requires a lot of effort. But if your heart is in it, then you don't feel tired, actually. In fact, you feel alive, you feel fully energized because you are really, really excited. You are really, really determined to find out for yourself, to satisfy your own curiosity about things that you want to find out by researching your own classroom, for example. Yeah. So back to you.
It's me again.
Yes, Dr.
So am I
Chai.
excited? Well, I think, just like any of the teachers, I think, we enjoy, and I love to see what works and what doesn't as well. But I think the research process and the pressure to publish could be very overwhelming at the same time as well. So I am eager to see the link between teaching and practice, because engaging in research actually deepens my subject knowledge, which subsequently would benefit my students' learning, right?
Yes.
But sometimes research can feel like an academic requirement because it's a KPI, right? Requirement rather than something that improves my teaching. So I'm always concerned that at the end of the day, I'll be working on completing research papers and working towards publications instead of using the data to really improve my teaching. So I think that's the kind of concern that I always have, and I always remind myself not to do that. So does my heart beat faster? Oh, yes, of course, right? It's very enjoyable, absolutely. But I think, right, if I want to consistently enjoy and feel that sense of achievement, something that gives me quicker results, probably it's better. It's easier for me to feel that. So at the moment, I think I focus more on practical classroom strategies because they offer me more immediate results. Not to say immediate, but it's quicker for me to see the results. So when we feel the sense of achievements, it motivates us better. So that's how I feel at the moment.
Yeah, excellent point. Yes, good. Yeah. Here are some additional points that I want to share with you. The heart here has to do with the willpower, motivation, commitment, self-determination. Yeah, willpower. But willpower alone is not enough. You also need the other power. It's called way power, how to do it. And this is where you need somebody to help you. This is where you need a mentor. This is where you need to work with somebody who knows more about research than you do. The way power, how to go about doing things, is as important as the will power. Yeah, both will have to go hand in hand, the willpower and also the way power. I've been very fortunate because I've been working with a lot of good people, people who know more about language teaching, about research than I did in the past. So I have the motivation and I have the people who can support me. Yeah. So think about how you can increase your willpower and also your way power. The next one is the usual thing, whether or not you have the confidence. Of course, initially you won't have a lot of confidence, but as you have got some experience, I think you'll be able to build up your confidence. You will feel, that you have the ability. You will believe that what you do is actually very useful for you and also for your students. And the last one is, are you a resilient person? Resilient person. What does resilient mean? So Darlene, do you remember resilient? Say that somebody who doesn't give up easily.
Yes, I do remember from the
Yes, somebody who does not give up easily, somebody who just keep on putting in effort, in order to be successful in whatever that you do. Resilient. I think there's a lot of people who are resilient here in our group. So that's the heart, yeah. The head is a bit of knowledge about research, a bit of knowledge about what it means to you as a teacher, about whether you have resources and things like that. And the heart, I think, is equally important, if not more important, if you ask me, unless your heart beats faster, but not too fast. Yeah. If you're beating too fast, then you need to seek medical attention a bit faster, because so it's so exciting. I want to know more about this. I want to solve classroom problems. Then research becomes less, daunting, if you like. So the last one is about the hands. The hands here refers to, what do I need to do? What are some of the things? What are the steps? What are the procedures that I need to go, through in order to get started with my research? Okay. Here you go. Now here there are 5 things that I want to share with you. Number 1 is a topic. Very important that you choose the most exciting topic. Yeah. And the second one is, I think there's no choice, but you have to find out more about the topic. And one of the best ways for you to find out more about the topic is for you to do a bit of reading. Yeah. The more you read, the better you understand about your topic. Even before you do your research, you need to understand a lot about the topic that you're thinking about. Yeah. Puvana, if you want me to give the same talk to your colleagues at ELTC, let me know. Dr. Chai and I will be very excited to do the same for you, ELTC.
Sure thing, Doctor.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then after reading, you have to do a little bit of thinking. Yeah, thinking is an important part of your, work as a researcher. And I'll explain a bit more about that. And then number 4 is about talking, sharing, talking, exchanging ideas, talking with people who have the same interests as you. And finally, the most scary thing for Dr. Chai is writing.
Oh, yeah.
Writing, yeah, and there are different types of writing that you can do. It doesn't always have to be writing for a publication in a big journal or anything. Yeah, I'll share with you what I have written actually, yeah, as part of the research process that I do. Let's begin with the first one, the topic. Here, the topic, yeah. Make sure that you are really passionate about the topic. Do not do research just for the sake of doing research. Do a piece of research that you are really, really interested in, that you are really, really passionate about. Yeah. So passion is number one. I'll put passion as the most important consideration for teachers in particular when they do research. Yeah. For example, you're interested in engaged learning. What is engaged learning, for example? You've been, for example, noticing that, hey, in my experience as a teacher, only half of my students are engaged. The rest are not engaged. They are there in the classroom, but, they are thinking about something else. They are not really, really fully engaged when I'm teaching my students. So I think that is something that is of interest, should be of interest to a lot of teachers in the audience here. So engaged learning is, at least for me, is a topic that is of great interest. Number two, yeah. Now this is more for researchers than teachers, because again, teachers usually do not have, they can't commit like 5 years or 10 years, but as a university teacher, as a researcher, as a lecturer in a university, for example, then you need to be thinking about whether or not that topic that you have selected will keep you going, will help you to continue doing the research on the same topic for the next 5 years. Yeah, I'm saying this because as a researcher, you do not want to change topics from time to time. You don't want to change topics too often. Yeah, the best researchers that I know, the most well-known people in our field that I know, they focus on one or two specific areas. Yeah. If you mention somebody like Ken Highland, for example, I think it's very well known, but his area is very much on writing. If you're looking at the topic of motivation, for example, there was a guy, who spent, years and years doing research on motivation. Yeah, he had written other topics as well, but his focus has always been on motivation. And there's somebody from New Zealand who spent like more than 50 years researching just one topic. I mean, he has written some other, research as well, but he was most passionate about vocabulary. Now, if you ask me what I've been writing about, what I've been researching, I think I will tell you that it's reading and listening, in particular, pleasure reading or extensive listening. Now, these are two topics that I'm very passionate about. And I can continue writing about it for many, many more years to come. I'm also interested in many other things, but these are two areas that I'm very, very focused on. Yeah. And that will keep me going for maybe 5 years, 10 years, and so on. And if you are a researcher, this is more for a researcher, not for a teacher. A teacher has a lot more flexibility in terms of choosing the topic, but as a researcher, you want to make sure that your topic is contemporary, that your topic is current. Current means that the topic is still being investigated by other researchers. So that is what currency is all about, which is very important. Yeah. But speaking of whether a topic is current or whether a topic is current or dated is kind of interesting. Maybe it's a bit difficult for people who are starting their career as a researcher. But let me share with you actually what is current and what is dated. And you'll be surprised that there's a lot of topics that you have seen for many, many years, but people are still investigating, doing research on it, but perhaps from a different angle. So that's the thing. Yeah, you cannot do the same research on the same topic from the same angle. I think that would be a bad idea. but you can look at a classic topic, a topic that has been around for many, many years, but from a different angle. I think that is the thing that we need to understand. Now, here is some example from a journal. This is one of my favorite journals, actually. It's called the ELT Journal, published by Oxford University Press, based in the UK. Very practical, very research-oriented, and it attracts a lot of readers, actually. The readership is very, very big for this particular journal. Here, two examples here. Two examples. Tell me that these topics are like, oh, I've never seen topics like this being investigated. Is that your feeling? Is that your reaction, May? No, right? The topic is very straightforward, Bhuvana. Look at this. Organizing talk in group speaking tests. Bhuvana, that's cooperative learning and speaking. Is that new? The topic has been around for years and years, but the person is looking at it from a different angle. So the angle thing is very important. Number two, what is the main topic here for number two? So Darlene, what is the topic here? The research topic here is, please say pronunciation.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, the topic is pronunciation. For crying out loud, pronunciation has been with us for decades, for centuries, right? So pronunciation. But the person is looking at pronunciation from an interesting angle, from a lingua franca perspective, from global English perspective. So it's I think you know what I mean, yeah? A topic may have been around for many, many years, but you can still look at it, you can still investigate it. In fact, the second topic here is kind of interesting for many, many teachers in the audience today. Yeah, pronunciation, but not from the perspective of a native speaker accent, for example, but from the perspective of global Englishes. I think that will be a very interesting thing for you to look at. I understand that many teachers still, believe that pronunciation, when you teach pronunciation, the target model for teaching pronunciation is either American English or British English or Australian English and things like that. Yeah, but in recent years, people have sort of, stayed away from that model, from that criterion, and they've been looking at how pronunciation can be taught more realistically, for example, because that is how people now, speak English. People from Myanmar, we speak English differently from people from Malaysia or from many other places in terms of their pronunciation. Here is another example. Participation. That's a classic topic, yeah? Student participation in the classroom. But the angle here is translanguaging. It's a very interesting topic. I'm not a big fan, actually, of translanguaging, but there you go. I mean, for research purposes, this can be a very interesting topic for people to look at. The angle is different, but the main topic is the same. Technology, again, very interesting, just looking at videos and how teachers and students can work together to create videos for learning and for teaching purposes. Next one here is on feedback. And feedback has been investigated for years and years and years, and it continues to be of interest to a lot of researchers and also a lot of teachers as well. Teachers are always excited about, finding out whether the feedback that you give to your students is actually effective or not effective. Yeah. So there are many other examples. Okay. But the key thing, in terms of the topic that you will be investigating, the number one consideration for teachers will be whether or not you are really, really excited about the topic. For researchers, I think the consideration should be broader. Yes, you have to be interested, but at the same time, you need to know whether the topic is quite okay in terms of recency, in terms of whether and to what extent the topic continues to attract a lot of research attention. Yeah. The next one is reading. So step number one is identifying the topic. Step number two is you need to know more about the topic. Yeah. Believe me, that whatever topic that you have selected, other people have written about it. There's nothing 100% new about the topic that you will be looking at, that you'll be investigating. Yeah. So you need to find out more about the topic before you start collecting data, before you start planning and designing your research. For example, what do you need to read? I think you need to read a little bit of the theory about something. Now, in this case, my example here is a theory about growth mindset. I think this is a very, very interesting and relevant for teachers to investigate growth mindset. Teachers' growth mindset, students' growth mindset, for example. Yeah, it's very, to me, it's very interesting. And then you look at the research that has been done. Theory here is a theoretical discussion about what growth mindset is all about. One name comes to mind. One of the big figures in the growth mindset is a lady, a psychologist by the name of Carol Dweck from the States. And in recent years, I've seen a lot of people researching, the growth mindset of different groups of people, pre-service teachers, in-service teachers. Bhuvana, this should be of interest to you. Yeah. The growth mindset of teacher educators, I think that is something that I have not seen before. Yeah, growth mindset.
Yes,
and then you need to also look at, publications, what people have written usually in journal, like the ELT journal, Asia TEFL journals, RLC journals, and many other journals. Yeah. Now here are some examples of journals and books and sources of information about the topic that you may have selected. Yeah, these are not all of them are available. Yeah. But these days, if you are good with the internet, if you know some websites that allow you to look at and read, these books for free, I think you'll be able to find them. If you ask me, I should be able to find them, using Google and using some other resources that I have access to. Okay. I think this guy is very good. He compiled a list of open access journals. Open access journals means publications that people can download, can view, can read online for free. So you might want to, scan the QR code there and see if there's anything. Like Asia TEFL Journal, for example, is open access. There are a lot more other journals that are open access. TESOL EJ is a Q1 journal. It's also open access. Open access means you publish for free and people can read your work for free as well. It's available all the time. Yeah. The next question about reading is this. Now, it has to do with finding important people in the area, in the topic that you're investigating. I think it's very, very important for you to understand what the big guys are saying about growth mindset, what the big guys, the top scholars are saying about the teaching of pronunciation, from the perspective of language, English as a lingua franca, and things like that. Yeah, find the big players. Don't go to Google. You have to be Google scholars, yeah? Google will give you a lot of, hits, and many of the hits may not be relevant to you. Google scholars, and then you type in the name or you type in a particular topic that you are interested in, and you'll be able to get a lot of information about who has written about the topic. Online resources like academia.edu, I think if you have access to this, there are millions actually of papers that you can access for free. So resources actually these days is not a problem. All of my publications are available in academia.edu, which you can download for free. Yeah. Websites of ELT scholars. Some people actually put their publications on their website. If you go to my website, for example, I think you'll be able to find a lot of my publications there which you can download for free. It's a bit illegal, but please don't tell anyone about that. But you can always, access the thing there. Google Scholar is, as I said, is very useful. Yeah. For example, if you are interested in investigating this topic, extensive listening in English language teaching, you just key in, the words, and bam, you'll see, 20, 30, or 40 relevant references on that topic. And then you can just go to the individual papers or chapters and then have a look at those. Here's another one. You just type in the keywords, bam, it's all there. You can tell Google Scholar to give you a list of readings published in the past 5 years, published in the past 10 years, and so on and so forth. Extremely useful. Yeah, I continue to be using Google Scholars when I am investigating a topic. Yeah, please don't cry. Next one is important. Let me go back to Dr. Chai. Is it easy to read? Do I have time? Okay, time again to read. Yes.
Is it easy to read? I think when we first, I think at least for me, when I first read academic papers, it's not always easy because it's very dry.
It's very difficult to read. Yes.
Yeah. And it's very, very dry, so it's not easy. But as we read more, we actually, we get a hang of it, and we sort of like know how to actually read and find information as well. We don't need to read word by word, though.
Yes.
Yeah. So it would get easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do I have the time to read? Dr. Willie, don't aim me when it comes to time.
Sleep less, yes.
I think reading, because reading is essential. So I think as teacher educators, we have to read to make sure that what we teach is always updated. So whatever it is, by hook or by crook, I'll find time to read, right? It's the writing part that is difficult.
Yes, but I agree with you. Reading a 30-page long academic papers is very painful. It's long, very difficult. And these researchers, they don't use the most, readable language, actually. The most, they use technical language. And their sentences are very long. And every 3 or 4 sentences, they will add a lot of references as well. It's not an easy read. So you need to be more selective. You need to find people who can read clearly, like me, for example. My writing usually is very clear and easy to follow. And interestingly, these days, I think you can sort of make use of AI tools. The first one here that I have here on the screen is Google Notebook LM. I got it from Puvana, actually, who is in the audience. Puvana shared with me that this Google Notebook LM is very, very powerful. So what you do is you download the article and you just put it there, and Google Notebook LM will summarize it in 2 forms. One in writing, very short summary, and the other one is in oral form, actually. So if you're too busy reading, I think you can just listen to the summary. Puvana, you want to say something about that? Google Notebook LM. It's free, yeah?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Willie. So basically, Google LM is whatever articles have on PDF. You've just got to upload it, and what it does is that you are able to it'll generate you FAQs, important notes, questions and answers. And the best part about it is that it will have a podcast where you'll have a male and a female voice talking and interacting about that particular article that you have uploaded. And the recent update on Google Notebook LM is the fact that we are able to chime in the conversation.
Oh, really? Wow.
It has gone through a series of beta testing, and the recent my recent ventures in trying Notebook LM last week actually enabled me to take part in that conversation of that male and female voice. So you are also able to chime in on what you've got to say about that particular article, and they will actually discuss about it together in threes, which is the man voice, the male voice, female voice, and your own voice. So it's really powerful.
My advice to you is, you need to build strong database about the topic that you're investigating. Let's say that you have found like 30 articles and you don't have the time to read all 30 articles. Read the most important ones, 5 of them, for example. Read them very carefully. The rest, I think you can use these tools, to help you with a quick summary of the other 25 articles. But I think you need to spend time reading some of the most important papers, articles about the topic. The rest, I think you can, if you don't have the time, really. But if you're a researcher like Dr. Chai, I think you have to read them all. Sleep less. Another tool here that you will find useful is brisk teaching. That's another very powerful tool for teachers. It's completely free. Brisk teaching, you can create a lesson plan, you can create what do you call that?
PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, PowerPoint presentation, summary of papers, and many other things using brisk feedback, specialized feedback for your students' writing. You can use that. Or you can access ChatGPT, or recently DeepSeek is very powerful, as good as ChatGPT, and it's completely free. Yeah, but you need to have access to the internet. Okay. Okay, the next one is basically thinking. Yeah, reading is one thing, but making sense of what you have read is very, very important. You really have to understand what you have just read. You need to be able to explain it in your own words. You need to do a lot of other things like exploring, evaluating whether the information presented is credible, reliable. You need to compare and contrast. Say, this person says this, but how come the other person says a different way? I think you need to compare and contrast and make decisions in terms of which one is more sensible for the purpose of your study. It's a lot of thinking that you need to do. But more importantly, when it comes to doing a rather serious piece of research, is this one. It's a summary of your reading. What have we learned from the literature so far? What do we know about the topic, and what we don't know yet about the topic? Yeah, what we have learned and what is still missing. And that is essentially what the gap is, Bufana. Yeah, you can't identify a gap. A gap doesn't happen all of a sudden like an inspiration. There's a gap there. No, you have to find out, you have to read quite a bit before you can find what is missing, what has not been researched extensively by other people. A gap here is not something that is 100% new. It's not possible. Yeah, for people to find something that is 100% new, something that has not been seen or investigated by other people, that is just not possible. Yeah. So what is possible is, hey, this is something that is interesting. People have looked at it, but from just one angle. I think I can look at it from a different angle. So that is something missing. That is a gap. And how do I address this gap in my research? That's an important follow-up question. Yeah. Let me just give you an example of a gap, research gap. Now, this is an excellent example of how somebody found a gap, and she did research on it, and then she got it published, and now she has been read and cited by more than 1,000 people. Yeah, if you look at the title there, essentially the person or the researcher was investigating listening comprehension problems, which is very easy to do, yeah? You just ask your students, hey, what are some of your problems? But this researcher introduced something that has not been done by other researchers. She investigated listening problems from a different theoretical framework. And that theoretical framework is a cognitive framework. When it was published, bam, a lot of people were looking at it. And even now, people are continuing to cite that. This one was a bit old. I think the citation now is probably about 1,500. So that is what is important about identifying an important gap in the topic that you're investigating. Another piece of paper, which I did, this one was also very interesting in the sense that it was sort of the first article that looked at conceptually the idea behind extensive listening. And when the paper was published, and a lot of people became very interested, and people look at it, people read it, and people started citing it. The citation figure now is not 300, but more than 500. Now imagine this, Puvana, this paper was only 3,400 words long. It was a conceptual paper. It was based on my reading of the literature. It was based on a little bit of thinking. Hey, how come people have not looked at this? Yeah. So before I fully retire, I'm hoping that I will get about 1,000 citations, hopefully. Sorry, Sunny, you saying something?
No, I just wanted to tell you that because I teach a module on teaching, listening, and speaking.
And you're using it.
Papers, I ask my students to read. Yeah, I'll get them to cite you as well when they're doing research on that.
I'll be happy to speak to your students actually when you're discussing this topic. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the reading part and finding the gap and everything. Yeah. The next one, number 4, is talking and listening. This is the next one. Yeah. Working alone is fast. Yes, you can do a lot of things alone. Yeah. But remember, if you work alone, your perspective, your thinking is limited in the sense that you'll be looking at it from one single perspective. You need to talk to people. You need to find people, who happen to have the same interests as you, and then you discuss things, you exchange your ideas, you hear what people say about the topic. And this way you can broaden your topic, you can have a much better understanding of your research topic. Yeah. You can form a research group or people with the same interest in your school or in your university. You can join an SIG, special interest group, in organizations, in conferences like ITEFL, TESOL, and things like that, so that you get to know people who happen to have the same interests as you. And that's how you learn from other people. Yeah. This is another thing. Talk to people, organize a staff seminar in your university, in your school, for people to listen to you and for people to disagree with you. And you have to listen to their, perspectives, to the way they conceptualize their understanding about things that you are investigating. Yeah. And the last one is something that I've been doing for the past 10 years. Share your ideas in social media. And don't expect people to like it. Don't expect people to give a thumbs up all the time. Yeah. The purpose is for you to get responses from other people. And responses from other people is always good. You don't have to agree with them, but I think you get to hear, to see different perspectives about things. Yeah. And the last one is writing. Is writing important? Yes, writing is important. Do you always have to publish your papers in an academic journal? If you can, why not? Yeah, but if that is not your KPIs, then don't. And there are many other things that you can do. Write a blog, for example. Yeah, write a short paper and circulate the paper, among the faculty members or the teachers in your school. But writing is important. Yeah. Write daily. Write for 15 minutes a day. You'll be surprised that after 5 years, your writing becomes so good. Yeah. other avenues like newsletters. I have written for newsletters. I've written for magazines. I've written for teacher journals as well. Now, these are not as difficult as, the more academic journals like those that I mentioned early on. Yeah. Now, here are some examples. Now, seriously, these are the kind of journals that you have the ability to actually publish in those journals. Modern English Teacher, for example. Yeah. Now, this journal publishes very, very short and very practical papers. How short is short? 1,000 words, 1,500 words. What about the topic? The topic can be anything from a lesson plan to, a reflection on your own teaching. New ideas that you tried out in your class and it doesn't work very well. You can write that up and publish it in this journal. I think I have published like 3 or 4 very short articles in Modern English Teacher. It's published in the UK. The good thing is that they pay you actually. They pay you for publishing in their journal. And the money is not too bad either. It's about £100. How much is that in Cambodian money, Darlene? £100. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, not bad, sir.
Not bad, yes. So imagine if you can publish 5 articles a year, that will be, on top of your monthly salary. So that's a good thing. As far as I know, this is the only journal that pays writers to publish. Yeah. Humanizing Language Teaching is an online journal. Again, it publishes very practical reflection papers, thought papers, conceptual papers, and all that. The last one is also very practice-oriented kind of journals that you can write about. I am confident that every single one of you can write, for these journals. Yeah, Puvana, please have one ready by June this year. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
It's my turn.
Yes, my
Right.
turn.
So I completely agree with Dr. Willie. Okay.
I don't have the time to write.
Yeah, I think now we know that time and it's not about time. Sometimes it's about the desire, right?
Exactly,
I think
yes.
that's
Yeah.
really the important point, right? So I think 15 minutes a day, it's a good way to start with. So what I have been experiencing is that, well, as an academic, we have to write. So when I'm saying that I'm stuck at writing, it doesn't mean that there's zero publication. So I do write with other people, but
Yeah.
it's not what I have expected, really, right? I want to be more productive. But what I notice is that once I'm stuck and I don't come out of it, then I'm always stuck. So unless I'm really determined to find ways to get out of it. So I spoke to Dr. Willie in November, and he really inspired me a lot as well. So I'm going to share with you what are the strategies or what do I do at the moment to really jumpstart my writing. So I've started to redefine the value of publication. Right. So I shared with you, right? Somehow, I'm interested in doing research because I want to find solutions to the problems, right? I have got topics that I'm really interested in, for example, like creativity. But because publication has been a KPI and I haven't been really productive, so I'm seeing it as an obligation already. Right. So I think redefining it is very important. So I've started to redefining that. So I look at it from a contribution perspective instead of an obligation perspective. So that's what I'm trying to see. So I'm seeing it as when I'm writing, I'm not really achieving the KPI for the sake of writing. I'm actually also contributing knowledge to other people, right? It has always been that, right? That's what a publication is for. But when you're stuck and when you have the pressure to achieving KPIs, then somehow, you would get a bit lost, yeah? So I try to see it as giving something that gives me a sense of achievement as well. Then I also start to reposition my role as an academic. So as an academic or as a teacher, we encourage curiosity and lifelong learning, right? So I have to embrace that. Then I start to Dr. Willie, could you help me to
Yes.
indicate
Sorry.
it?
Sorry.
So No worries. Then I also start to recognize my impact. So whatever that I do, it has got a value. So if there's a value, then it makes me feel that, oh, it's important, right? What I do is important. So I start to see it from this perspective. Then it motivates me to get things done, to get things written. Then I try to restructure my approach, right, towards writing. So I start to collaborate with others who have the same interests and vibes. So remember Dr. Willie talking about passion, right? When he was talking, I was actually reflecting on my journey, and I also started to realize that, well, my interest is on creativity. But when I first started, because I have this perception or notion that, oh, I want to learn more, right? So I joined a lot of other people's research, which it's not something that I'm really, really passionate about. I thought of learning, but it's not the most productive way for me. So I need to start with something that I really like. So then I start to work with people who are also working on creativity as well. Then I set achievable milestones to maintain a sense of achievement. So this is what Dr. Willie recommended me to do as well. So if I find writing difficult in the sense that I don't have time to write, because writing is also about momentum, right? If you don't write it consistently, you tend to lose that momentum.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's
Yes,
all.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right. I've got papers that I should have published 2 years ago, and it's still there. Right? Because I've lost.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So then Dr. Willie said, okay, maybe to jumpstart, start with something short, right?
Yes,
Modern
yes.
language teachers is something
that will
I
give
can
you a lot of
do.
motivation, a lot of confidence to write more. Yeah.
Yeah. So just start to give us the opportunity to celebrate our achievements, right?
Yes.
Whether it's big or small. Then
Yes.
seeking mentorship as well, right? Talking to people, right? I never actually expected that just by not a short conversation, actually it was quite a long conversation with Dr. Willie, right? And I would get so much of inspirations as well. Otherwise, I think I'll be continuing. I mean, I'll still be stuck, right? And thinking of ways to come out of it. So seeking mentorship, there are lots of people who are willing to help actually. So yeah, we just need to seek for the support and ask to talk to people.
Yes, like they say, knock and the door will be open for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a biblical verse.
Yeah, so I think not just the strategies, but also the perceptions, shifting our perceptions help a lot, because the way we think affects the way we do things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Next.
this is something that I've been doing actually in achieving goals that I have always wanted to achieve. And this is also shared by one of my colleagues who is always productive and resourceful as well. So I thought this is something useful for me to share with all of you. So it's called WOOP, right? Wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan. So think about what you would like to achieve, right? And how would life be better if you were to achieve that? Then what is standing in your way? What are the obstacles? And how to overcome this. So if this happened, what are you going to do? So I'm going to give you some examples.
Yeah.
Okay. First, I think it's wish. So what do you wish to become, right? What is your desire? Do you want to be an effective teacher, right? Do you want to do something on curriculum innovation? Do you want to have a position at the leadership level? And if you were to achieve this, right? So what is the outcome? Probably you get a promotion, maybe achieving your personal or professional development or satisfaction. Then what are the obstacles, right? Lack of motivation, maybe. Time management, don't have time. The lack of knowledge, lack of skills, lack of resources. Are these your obstacles? So be very specific when you are trying to identify the obstacles, and be very practical about it, and then plan. So if you encounter challenges like a lack of motivation, what are you going to do? Are you going to speak to other people, right? If you lack knowledge, so what are you going to do? So once we have these things clearly articulated and planned for, it actually helps us to move forward towards our goal and think positively about achieving our goal as well. So I found this useful because it really gets me to think and practically resolve all my obstacles. But so I'm going to use it for my writing as well.
Yes, good. Yes. It's good and practical way of thinking about,
yeah, it's conceptualized by a psychologist as well.
Whoop.
Whoop, yeah.
Yes. So we have come to the end of our presentation. Remember 3 things that we have shared with you. Let's do it together. Please touch your head. Yeah, you need to know what research is all about, whether you have the resources to do it, whether you have the time to do it, and then the heart's very important, whether you have that thing, that X factor, the passion, the perseverance, the motivation to do it. And the last one actually is very easy. Once you've got the first 2, the head and the heart, the next one actually is very straightforward. Yeah, it may look a bit difficult, all the steps and things, but if you put your heart to it completely, I think things will become much, much easier for you to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, since you've been a very, very good audience, gift from me. These are all free downloads. You just need to go to my website. Remember, I have a website and I put a lot of stuff in there. Everything in there is free. I have to pay a little bit to maintain the website actually, but it's all for, for the well-being of the people that I serve. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening, and happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Willie and Dr. Chan.
Yeah.
So teachers and participants, if you have any questions and comments, you can have your mic on and ask the questions and make comments to the speakers directly.
Yeah. Now here's the rule of the game. Easy questions for me, difficult questions for Dr. Chai. That's how it works, yeah?
You can raise your hands or you can shout out loud.
Naning, are you in the audience? No, he's not there.
Or if you would like to share your experiences, that's also completely fine. And then, Dr. Willie will share and enlighten you. I think one participant.
Share all the troubles that you have. And I will say, whoop. Whoop. Yes, Pauline. Yes, please go ahead.
Hello, Willie. Yes, thank you so much.
Hi, hello, Pauline.
For the presentation.
Yeah.
I listened to your presentation about how to address the gap, right? And then you mentioned the connection with how do you call finding kind of theoretical framework, looking from different angle, and then you mentioned, okay, this is kind of different theoretical framework. So how do we actually come about to find that theoretical framework in our literature?
Pauline, tell me about about your background.
Oh yeah, we just met in Thailand actually. So
okay.
For the Thai TESOL.
Okay,
so
are you from Thailand or are you from somewhere else?
I'm from Batam, Indonesia.
Oh, you're from Batam. Okay, yes.
We met in Thai TESOL just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm currently studying at Soka University in Japan.
Soka University, that's right. Yes. Finding a research gap is extremely difficult. I think I can tell you that it is very, very difficult. What I often do with my students, my MA students, my PhD students, is I tell them what the gap is. Because there's no point in asking students to spend one whole year to find a gap. Students don't have that time to actually, spend like days and days researching, reading all the references to find a gap. It's just very, very difficult. Unless you are dealing with, graduate students who are already researchers, then that's a different issues altogether. Many of my graduate students are people like you, teachers. Yeah, they are very good teachers, excellent teachers. They have a lot of experience teaching, but research is a different ball game altogether. Especially graduate level kind of research is a different ball game. You need to go into it. You need to dig up the literature. You need to do a lot of thinking. You need to do a lot of, reflecting. You need to consult a lot of people in order for you to be able to find a real research gap. And that usually is not very easy to do. A shortcut, you might be thinking about a shortcut. Shortcut number one, the easiest is ask your supervisor. If the supervisor doesn't tell you what the research gap is, change your supervisor, find a new one. Seriously, find a new one, and that's a bad supervisor. Number two, interestingly, there are two recent publications, two books actually, and these two books are about research questions. Research questions essentially are research gaps. Yeah, research questions. Now, these two books, I can't remember. One is published by Routledge. The other one is published by Springer. I can send you the name of the two books. Now, these two books contain collections of chapters written by people who are knowledgeable about various topics in applied linguistics and English language teaching. So each chapter is written by experts in the field, and that expert has been asked to write about their area of specialization, and they are also required to list like 5 or 10 research questions. Now, research questions here are actually research gaps. So according to these people, these are research areas that have not been extensively investigated by other researchers. One is by Springer, the other one is by Routledge. I just can't remember the title, but I can share with you if you contact me. So this will be very excellent, very good resources for you to get started if you want to research one area that you are not very familiar with. Flora, who are you, Flora? Flora.
Hi, Ba, it's me.
Oh, this is my writing buddy by the name of Flora. Flora, video on, please. Video on.
This I cannot do the video. Sorry.
But I gave you a new web camera last week.
Sorry.
Not to worry. Yeah. Flora just recently completed her doctorate in a university in Indonesia, and she is very productive. And I think if you look at the chat box, she just sent you the name of the title of that book. And again, if you are good with Google, I think you can find that book by searching on Google. Flora, there are two, right?
Yeah, there are two. I'm still looking for the other one.
Yeah, the other one is by Gary Bucklison.
Yes.
Yes. The one that you posted was by Christine Kuhn.
Christine.
Yes, Christine Kuhn. Yeah. Yeah. So these are very useful resources for you if you want to get started, so that you don't have to spend like one whole year just trying to find a research gap. I think that doesn't really make sense for the majority of people who want to do research. Laura, thank you very much for that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Willie,
yes.
I would like to have a look at my two slides. One slide is literature versus teaching, and another one is the head questions. I couldn't catch all. Thank you.
So
the literature review, yeah. Dr. Chai, please.
Yes.
I think she's asking for the slides, the two slides on the head.
Yes.
Is that which question?
Yes, I just would like to have a look at that slide. Literature versus teaching. The first line I remember is syllabus versus literature review, like that one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right. The differences between
yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
similarities and differences between teaching and research.
Yes, it's not exactly the same.
Yeah.
What I'm trying
Absolutely.
to, yes, what I'm trying to say is that before you start teaching, you need to consult the syllabus. You need to look at the syllabus, right? Otherwise, you can't really teach. You need to refer to something. Yeah, in the same way that when you do a piece of research, you need to consult the literature. The literature actually is a body of knowledge, usually in the form of books, book chapters, journal articles, and things like that. This one, right?
Yes.
This is the one you're referring to, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And another one is head, heart, hands
Okay.
questions. The collective question respond by.
So this one is clear, yeah?
Yes, clear.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
And then the other one?
Is
The
head
other one is
question.
head, heart, and hands question. The third part.
I think that's the first. Okay.
Oh, the heart or the head? The head.
Hands.
This one. Oh, the
Oh, the
hands.
hands.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the
The
hands.
third part
Yes.
portion, no first portion. The third portion.
This one?
Before
No.
that.
Before that?
that.
Oh, the how?
The hard
No.
questions. Is that right?
The questions, yes. Some of the several reflective questions answered by
I think probably it's the one before that, though, Dr. Willie.
This one?
No, before that.
This one?
Before that, I think right before that. Yeah. Is that one? The hard questions that you're referring to, Dada?
Yes. Thank you. Got it.
Oh, okay.
Got it. Yeah.
Or
It was
if you,
really.
Yes, if you want a copy of this slide, I will send it to May. May represents Myanmar TESOL.
Thank you, Dr. I will send the slides along with the certificates to all the participants after they have signed in that form.
Yes, thanks for that, May. Yeah.
Thank you to teacher May. It was so delighted to hear that, and it's really nice. And actually, I also met Dr. Willie at Camp TESOL.
Oh, you did.
So yes, this is Indra. I'm sorry, I was just returned from an event and just to join the session after so long missing the events with MMTSO as well. This is my 2025, the very first time, the very first event, and it was really enjoyable. Actually, to reflect, to share my remarks, teaching versus research, but somehow related. But what we can do is we can do reflective teaching after each of our lesson. But research is also related with a publication. So if which milestone shall we stop? Are we supposed to stop till publication? It would be quite challenging. But then in COVID era in 2022, I joined the SIRA, Southeast Asia Research Academy, where we can match researchers from multi sectors. I think I have seen there, or no, I'm not sure, Dr. Willie. Dr. Hiram, who is the founder of SIRA. So we invited monthly or weekly different researcher from different university, the professor, rector from different university, and plan different research method and presentation as well.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, and you met me in Thai TESOL?
Not Thai, Camp TESOL.
Oh, Camp TESOL. Oh, that was many years ago.
Yeah, at that time you were keynote speaker there.
Okay. Yes, it's good to see you again. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, teachers, any other questions?
Yeah, do you have questions, comments?
Yes. Good evening from
other
Cambodia.
teachers?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Good evening from Cambodia.
Yes.
Greetings to Professor Willie and Dr. Chai and everybody.
Yes.
My name is Kun. I work in the research office as a government officer and also an academic researcher. And also involved with teaching research methodology to
nice.
postgraduate students.
Yeah.
I would like to get some experience or tips as how I can build more research buddy or research team to improve research publication and writing for book publication as well. The challenge is that being as an officer, I occupy most of the time with meeting and other works.
Right.
And it's difficult to get enough time to concentrate on writing. But I would like to hear some idea from you to deal with this one, and also some tips to accumulate resources or fund to support the team as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I think an idea that came to mind as I was listening to your question is this. In fact, a number of universities in the region, faculty members and research centers as well, yes, they also encounter challenges, in terms of, having completed their research and then they're trying to get it published somewhere, but they don't have the experience, they don't have the expertise of writing for publication. So what they do actually is they sort of hire an international consultant, and you can then tap on their experiences and on their expertise to help your team in conceptualizing, in writing up the research findings for potential publications. Just now, there was somebody from Indonesia, Dr. Flora. Flora, are you still there? I think she will be a very good person for you to consult. She is very good. She is a writer and she writes very clearly. Flora, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, she is here. So my advice for you will be to talk to, or if you have the resources, hire people, basically. Myself, I'm a consultant to 2 research centers and 2 universities, actually, helping the junior faculty members to get published as well. So we co-write or co-author, papers together. So that's how, you can, get your research published in journals.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Yes. But you need some funding, lah. I mean, if there's no funding, it's difficult for you to hire people from overseas. Not a big amount of money, but I think you need some money to, to get people to come and provide tips and advice to your colleagues.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Willie. I think there's someone who has asked a question in the chat box. I will read it for you. It's quite long. It's from Leon Dani. May I ask the question here, as my internet connection is not stable? Now, I am a teacher trainee of English at National Institute of Education. Now I'm doing a research to fulfill the requirement of the institute. My title of research is Exploring Cambodian EFL Teacher Trainees, Perceptions of Extensive Reading, a case of National Institute of Education. And I have learned a lot from Dr. Willie related to extensive reading through your research articles and your website. This is also the first time for me to do the research. My question is that, what is your advice to a young researcher when he or she wants to try doing the research without experience before?
Yes, like we pointed out earlier on, do it together with somebody who has had some experience researching and writing about extensive reading and related topics. I think that would be the best arrangement that you could possibly have.
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Willie, because as a starter, it's always helpful to have someone to support you as well. And the person will be able to pinpoint areas that you haven't actually considered. So it's always useful to have someone to work with you and then publish together. And that person could also help you to, in terms of identifying a good journal for publication, right? So I think, as a start, it's always helpful to have someone more experienced in your topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can actually ask Dr. Willie after this. So you're doing extensive reading, right?
Excellent suggestion. Yes. Or, you know, as somebody who is new, I think you can start it off yourself, actually. Start writing through trial and error. Hopefully not, you know, not in the sense that, you know, you should make a lot of mistakes before you can get it done. I think my advice to people has always been read and find a research article that is very much close to what you are currently doing and use that as a model.
Yeah.
That's how you get started. Do not start from scratch. Do not start by trying to be creative or innovative. You don't want to do that. So try to see a model, a good model, a published research paper or research article on the same topic that you're investigating. The same research paper that maybe makes use of the same methods and data analysis techniques, and use that as an example, as a basis for you to write your own research. So modeling, modeling is the best way for you to do it.
Yeah.
And modeling is not that difficult. You just need to find, you know, similar research articles. Yeah. When I was much younger, I did not have my own style for writing. So I would look at people who have written a lot, and then I look at, oh, okay, that kind of writing style is kind of interesting. I like it. So what do? I read as much as possible about that person or what that person has written before. And after a while, I sort of, okay, that's how I write, basically. Yeah, initially, what I write is quite similar to what that person has written, but gradually I develop my own style of writing. So basically, it's modeling. Yeah, modeling, and then approximating, and then innovating, basically developing your own style. It takes quite a bit of time, but it's something that is doable. You don't always need somebody to, you know, to handhold you. You can do it yourself. You know, independent learning is possible.
That's a good point, Dr. Willie. Actually, replicating a research itself is also a contribution.
That will be a good start. Yes.
Yeah.
Replication is a very, very good start. Yeah.
And
you
that
may
can
not.
Also be a gap, right, Dr. Willie?
That's correct. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. May, I think it's getting late.
Yes. So, wow, what a great evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Willie and Dr. Chai, for the enlightening and insightful presentation tonight. We have learned not only about the research, but also the how and the why we do the research. We have learned the 3H of the research, doing research, conducting research, the myths and the similarities between teaching and the research. And the good advice, sleep less, the willpower and the way power.
Yes.
I will recite it to my students later on. Whenever they show sign of laziness, I will say sleepless.
Yes.
And we have got very good resources, the sources for the resources, the print version, the digital version. So thank you so much. And it's a great opportunity for us to have learned from these two eminent, well-loved, well-respected and highly esteemed scholars who have done a lot of research and quality teacher education, not only in Asia, but also across the countries and the regions and in the world. So please accept our sincere appreciation for this outstanding presentation from us and from the participants as well. And thank you to all the participants to join us from different parts of the world, although there is a different time zone. And thank you very much for unwavering professionalism and enthusiasm. So thank you very much, Dr. Willie. Thank you very much. And Dr.
Thank you very much, May.
We hope to see you again. And we hope we'd like to invite you again.
Yes, please do invite us again.
Yes, we'll do. Every month. What about every month? Dr. Chai, okay. Okay, so thank you so very much from all of us. Yeah, we will send you the certificates of appreciation very soon. Dr. Willie and Dr. Chang,
thank you so much.
Hope to
Yes.
see you again.
Yeah.
Yes. And okay, and if when you send us the PowerPoint slides, we will send it to the participants as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Dr. Willie.
Bye.
Thank you,
so much.
Professor.
Dr.
Bye-bye.
Anna,
Bye.
thank you. So
Thank you so
darling.
much.
Bye-bye,
Thank you very much,
Chris.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, sir.
Bye-bye. Good night, everyone.
Bye.